Hello class, my name is Jessica Nicole Suarez, and today I want to talk about something deeply personal. Not just because I work in this field, but because I've seen how it changes lives. My topic is hospice care. And I know this topic could be a bit morbid. I'm not trying to sell anybody on signing up for hospice today. I just hope that by the end of this talk, I can help you see it not as something to fear, but as something to embrace with compassion. So when you hear the word hospice, what comes to mind? Most people picture a hospital bed, an empty hospital bed, sadness, or maybe even giving up. And I get that because that's how I thought of it too before I started working with hospice. But what if I told you that hospice isn't about death? It's actually about how we choose to live at the end of life. Today, I want to persuade you to consider hospice care not as a last resort, but as an act of love. A choice for comfort, dignity, and peace for both the patient and the family. Let's start with what hospice actually is. Hospice care is for people with a terminal illness, usually with a life expectancy of 6 months or less. It focuses on comfort and not curative measures. So that means pain management, emotional and spiritual support, and helping families prepare not just for death, but for saying goodbye with peace and not panic. It can be provided at home, in a nursing home, in a boarding care, assisted living, or even some contracted hospitals. It is a Medicare covered benefit, and it is also covered by Medi-Cal and most insurance plans. But more than anything, hospice is about this: giving someone the right to a peaceful, dignified ending on their terms. So, let's talk about a few of the biggest myths I hear at work and the truth that correct them. Myth 1: hospice is only for the last few days of life. The truth is, hospice can support patients and families for months at a time. It's for patients that have no curative treatments available, or if they do have curative treatments available, it will give more negative negative effects to the patient rather than be beneficial to them. And it is also meant for patients on their last few days of life. Myth 2: choosing hospice means we're giving up. Hospice is not about giving up. It's about shifting your mind from focus to comfort. It's a choice for quality of life over quantity of life, and it is not a sign of defeat. Myth 3 is hospice is depressing or expensive. The truth is, hospice is actually free for most patients as it is a Medicare covered benefit or under Medi-Cal, and it provides emotional support not just for the patient but for the entire family. So when people say we're not ready for hospice, what that can actually mean is we're not ready to let go. But the irony is, hospice doesn't take away hope. It helps you hope for a peaceful ending. So let's discuss what hospice can provide. Here's what people get when they choose hospice. They get access to 24/7 care to nurses and doctors, and also pain management. They have a full care team: a doctor, a nurse, a social worker, a chaplain, a home health aide as well. The family gets support, they get education, counseling, and grief help. They're able to plan out the funeral. They're able to, discuss between a burial or cremation. And some hospices even help with the financial burden of like groceries because, you're dealing with having to get money for educate or medications, so they're able to provide other out-of-pocket expenses as long as you can talk to them. And then also they provide medical supplies and medications to be delivered to the home. And they also offer peace of mind. It's not just for the patient, it's for the whole family. I've seen family members go from fear and exhaustion to finally being able to just be present with their loved one. I want to share a story that actually captures what hospice can do, not just for a patient, but for an entire family. We had a patient at City of Hope who was battling cancer for months. He was young, he was in his late 40s. Both he and his wife were retired from the Air Force. They had 3 small children under the age of 10. He had been in and out of the hospital fighting so hard, but the pain became too much to bear. Even with the aggressive treatment, his quality of life was getting worse. And that's when the doctors referred him to hospice. Because hospice focuses on comfort, not cure, we were able to discharge him home with IV pain medication, a hospital bed, oxygen, and a wheelchair. With his pain finally under control, something beautiful happened. He was able to renew his wedding vows with his wife, surrounded by their children. He walked down the aisle with them, something he never thought he'd be able to do again. One, because sadly he thought that he was going to pass in the hospital. And actually, the hospice staff was there to be present and congratulate him. That was almost 2 months ago, and he's still on hospice today, still surrounded by love, comfort, and the ability to be home with his family. So I know it's easy to tune this out when you're young and healthy, but this isn't about old age or terminal illness. It's about knowing your options before you're in crisis. Hospice isn't just for people who are dying, it's for people who are living through the end. And one day it might be for someone you love. Talking about hospice early gives families time to make decisions with calm minds and not under pressure or pain. So here's what I'm asking you to do. 1, learn about hospice, ask questions, and don't be afraid of the word. 2, talk to your family, not when things are bad, but when everyone is okay. And 3, if a loved one is facing a terminal diagnosis, don't wait until the last days to talk about hospice. The earlier it's involved, the more it helps. Choosing hospice is not the end of hope. It's the beginning of comfort, control, and compassion. Hospice care allows people to pass with dignity, not fear. It supports families when they feel lost, and it's something that more people should understand before they need it. My coworker once said something that has always stuck with me. She said there is so much love and support that comes when a person is brought into this world, that the same love and support should be provided when a person is leaving this world. And that's exactly why hospice is so important to me. I've seen what happens when families are overwhelmed and unsure, and I've seen how hospice brings peace, clarity, and comfort when everything else feels out of control. That's why I believe people should learn more about it and be willing to talk about it openly, especially if someone in the family is declining or choosing not to continue treatment. Having those conversations early isn't negative, it's an act of love and preparation. To sum it all up, hospice isn't about giving up. It's about choosing comfort, dignity, and quality of life when a cure is no longer possible. It's about giving patients the chance to spend their final days wherever they call home, surrounded by loved ones, with their pain managed, their wishes respected, and their families supported. We've talked about what hospice is, what it isn't, the myths people often believe, and the powerful impact it can have, like helping a young father in the military walk down the aisle with his wife and children one last time. My hope is that you leave today not afraid of the word hospice, but curious about it and willing to talk about it, because the best time to learn about hospice is before you need it. And the most loving thing we can do for someone at the end of life is to help them leave this world the same way they came into it, surrounded by care, peace, and love. Thank you.